This is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, and verse 1. In the Holy Scriptures, and it reads, "This is know also that in the last days perilous times should come." Matthews 24:12, and it reads, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." Ecclesiastes 39 and verse 28, and it reads, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made it." Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely as well too. I say shalom to you Akim out there. And this is in the news on this August the 14th, 2022 at 6:11 p.m. Central Standard Time on this Sunday afternoon. And this was a news article was recently, and this incident happened yesterday afternoon. Yesterday morning, I believe. And this is from Pennsylvania, and this is from MSNBC.com, and the highlight of the news article reads from MSNBCnews.com, and it says, "One dead, 17 injured after a car drives into a crowd at Pennsylvania fundraiser. Driver suspected in a fatal attack after crash." The fundraiser being held to support the family of 10 people who died in a house fire in Nescopec early this month. And from what I've been hearing, they said they said a suspect might have been involved in that as well too. And that was when on August the 8th, 10 people had died in a house fire. And somebody set the house on fire, and it was like, I believe it was children in there as well too, along with adults. So it brought it up to a total of 10 people had died. So they said the suspect that intentionally plowed his car through the crowd of a fundraiser yesterday for the victims of a fire earlier this month. So they said, I believe, I'm not 100% accurate or sure about it, but according to the reports, they said the suspect that plowed his car through the crowd yesterday, he might be the suspect in the house fire that happened early this month on August the 8th. That 10 people had that. But I'm going to continue on with the reading. It says the suspect who crashed into a Pennsylvania crowd also charged in the death of his mother. Right, because I think because it was like 2 crime scenes that day, which is yesterday, after he plowed his car intentionally through the crowd after the fundraiser event for the victims lost their lives in a fire early this month on August the 8th. So that first incident was 1 people had died, 17 were injured, and then he sped off after that had happened, and he went to a second crime area. I believe he had got out the car and brutally beat a woman with a hammer badly. He beat her up so badly that she died on the scene. So I guess the authorities later that day, they was able to catch up with him. I believe he's like 24 or 25 years old, male, But I'm continuing on with the news article. It says this was on October 13th, 2022 at 10:26 p.m. And this was updated on August the 14th, 2022 at 1:30 a.m. Published by Dennis Romero. It says a man through a crowd gathered for a fundraiser event Saturday evening killed one person and injuring 17 before fatally attacking a woman in the neighborhood, Broad, Pennsylvania. Authorities said the suspect was identified as Adrian Oswaldo. It says Surya Reyes was arraigned by Magistro District Justice Doug Bureau on 2 open counts of criminal homicide and Pennsylvania State Police said in a news release early Sunday. Well, yeah, today, because today is Sunday, Salaki. But continuing on with the reading, it says Reyes, who was from Nesacopec, a small township in Pennsylvania in eastern Luzerne County, was denied bail and remained to the Columbia County Correctional Facility. Release said no details were released about the victims, and at an early news conference Saturday evening, that State Trooper Anthony Petrowski said that a vehicle drove through a community event in Bushwick around 6:15 p.m. And it says after the crash, the suspect was accused of fatally assaulting a woman in the Nesacopec, where he was taken into custody by the Mopala police, Petrowski said. And it says police are investigating whether the suspect intentionally drove into the crowd and have not said whether there was a connection between the suspect and the woman who killed in Nesacopec. It says NBC affiliated with WBRE, a Whiskey Bear reported the crowd has gathered at the Bushwick benefit event to raise funds for the families of the 3 children and 7 adults who died in the early house fire on August 5th. Oh, okay, it was on August 5th, not August 8th. Okay, I'll rephrase that. It says officials have not released the identity of the 2 people who were killed. Columbia County Coroner Jermaine Reyes says the woman in the Bushwick crash was 50 years old and from Whiskey Barrel says she was declared dead at the scene. And it says the 17 injured were taken to 4 area hospitals. Petrowski said their conditions were not immediately available from law enforcement on Saturday night. It says that Mike McMullen, a spokesperson for health care provider Jiskinger, said it has been treating 15 patients from the Berwick incident at 3 of its locations. 5 are in critical condition and 3 are in fair condition. 7 were treated and released, he said. Saturday's benefit was held at a toxicology department, bar, and restaurant. People have also gathered in the adjacent outdoor space where various vendors and basket raffles have been set up under tents. The event also include a water balloon fight and dunk tank. According to the bar's social media, we can never replace these people that were lost, but we can do our best to support family owners. Lauren has told NBC affiliated the WBRE West Bear at the event on Saturday. It says on Saturday night, the bar posted on Facebook that it will be closed until further notice. Today was an absolute tragedy. The post said, "Please respect our privacy while we are grieving that try to process the events that occurred." Funerals were set to begin Friday for some of the victims who died in the August 5th blaze, with additional service scheduled for Sunday and Monday. The deceased including 7 adults ranging from the age of 19 to 79, 2 boys 5 and 6, and a 7-year-old girl, according to the Pennsylvania State Police. All 10 of the dead, it says all 10 died of smoke inhalation. The curve determined. Pennsylvania State Police initiated a cold case at a complex criminal investigation into the fire as its cause, which has not been determined, are ongoing. The fire broke out before 3 a.m. and first responders reported flames that repelled their efforts to get inside the 2-story home, and makers rescued, says authorities said later that day. And it says the home was burned to the ground and remains were discovered as authorities went through the rubber as if the suspect. Saturday's incident was also a possible suspect. Yep, I just talked about that in the introduction of this lesson. A Nasco-Peg fire Pescoci said at this time he is not a suspect in that incident. Nasco-Peg is a rural of more than 1,400 people located about 48 miles southwest. Yeah, it's a really small town. 48 miles southwest of Scranton. Bushwick in Columbia County has a population about 10,300 people, and it sits across the Scrimholland River from Nasco-Peg. So yeah, that goes into in the last days, perilous times should come, and we're seeing that definitely increasing. The increase of lawlessness, you know. And I'm gonna bring out I think that's John 3:4, if I'm not mistaken. This is, oh no, that's another scripture. Sabaki. Is that 5, I think? Verse 5. Oh, Sabaki. Never mind. But the scriptures, you know, that I just brought out, you know, with the 2 Timothy, Ecclesiastes 39 and 28, and Matthew 24 and 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, because we're gonna see more cases like this increase, just like what happened earlier on August the 5th, 10 people had died, because judgment being increased as well too in the last days. People gonna have that cold heart towards one another, and it's gonna increase now more than ever. And I'm gonna bring up Matthew's 24, Matthew's 24 and 21. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 21. Then shall great tribulation, such as was not seen the beginning of the world to this time, nor ever shall be. Right, because we in those times, we in that time of great tribulation that's taken on the planet Earth. Love of many waxing cold. Nation rising against nations, kingdom against kingdoms. And with wickedness increasingly, lawlessness is increasing at an all-time high. Love of many waxing cold at an all-time high. Spirits that are created for vengeance at an all-time high. Perilous times increasing at an all-time high. So these are the signs of the times that we are living in. And I believe it was one here in Illinois. It was a group of people that was in an altercation. They was fighting and stuff like that. It was like 4 or 5 in the morning, and it was like a hit and run. The car. I seen the video of it. The car sped so fast. It was crazy. I think like 3 people had died on the scene, and one was injured. Because me and my OG, we was talking about that earlier this morning. After she was going to church and everything like that, and she came home from church, was like, man, we heard about that story. 3 people had got killed, 1 injured, and that high speed hit and run. The hit was so bad. They shoes flew out of. They shoes flew in the air and it hit the ground. That's how the crash was so. That's how the hit and run was so bad. So that shows you prime examples of great tribulation and great judgment that is coming upon the planet Earth, and it's increasing now more than ever. The increase of lawlessness, the increase of love of many waxing cold in these last days, now more than ever, increasingly. People getting stabbed, shot up, killed violently, out of nowhere. Even though we so used to accustomed of hearing these things, but these things definitely been increasing at an all-time high in these last days. Spirits that are created for vengeance, love of many waxing cold, lawlessness, wickedness increasing exceedingly more than ever as well too. So with that, I hope this quick sit-down lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, grace, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Wakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Hakim, scattered through the 4 corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Hakim, that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom and above.